For section 6.4, we're going to start off by talking about the factor theorem. And what it means is that for any polynomial, which is called p of x minus a is a factor of the polynomial p of x. If and only if the p of a is equal to 0. So what that really means is if we divide and we find our remainder, if our remainder is equal to 0, then what our binomial is a factor of the polynomial that they gave us. So also we can check it by taking the number 3 and plugging it into our polynomial to see if we get 0 out. And that's what our example over here is showing. So they took 1, that was our a value, and they plugged 1 into x squared minus 1. And when you do 1 squared, you get 1, and you subtract 1, you get 0. So it equaled out to be 0, so it is a factor. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So our a value is 3. And then our coefficients are 1, 2, and negative 3. And we're going to bring that 1 straight down. So we're going to do the dividing, the synthetic division that we've been doing the last few days. And then we're going to do 3 times 1, which is 3. We're going to add, so that's 5. And then we do 3 times 5, which is 15. And then we add, would give us 12. So 12 is our remainder. So what this is saying is if I took 3 and plugged it in for x, I'm going to get an answer of 12. I'm looking for if I get an answer of 0. So we want that remainder to be 0. So is this binomial a factor of this polynomial? The answer to that question is no. It would be a yes if I got 0 where that 12 is. So let's try this one over here. So this a value is actually negative 4. And then write our coefficients out, 2, and then that's x to the 4th. We need x to the 3rd. We don't have x to the 3rd, so that's a 0, and we don't have x to the 2nd, so that would be a 0 as well. And then we have 2, oops, I messed up that whole equation. This is actually a 3, and so that's going to change some of this here. So x to the 4th is 2. X to the 3rd is 8. We don't have an x to the 2nd. We have an x, which is 2, and then we have our constant of 8. There we go. So we don't have any x squareds here. So we had to put the 0 in. So now let's bring down that 2. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. That would be 0. Negative 4 times 0 is going to be 0. Add going down is 0. Negative 4 times 0 is going to be 0. Add going down, I get 2. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Add going down, I get 0. So here, my remainder is 0. So p of negative 4 equals 0. So we use the negative 4 from here, and our remainder is what's left over. That's what we wanted. So the question of, is x plus 4 a factor of this polynomial that they gave us? And since we got 0 out for an answer, the remainder, the answer is yes, that is a factor.